Everybody, welcome to the Realine podcast, where we talk about your faith, family, and money. And I'm your host, Brytton Rogers. And today I got my co-host with me, my brother Garrett Rogers here.
Yeah.
And made your way from Ohio.
Yeah.
So, tell everybody kind of like what we're doing today.
Today has been a large filming day, the first one for Realine.
Yep.
I am the behind the camera guy. I'm just happy to be a part of the team. And this is very trial and error, but today's the first day that we are really putting this idea together that is the podcast. And I'm very thrilled about it. It's going pretty smooth, honestly.
Yeah. We'll probably look back at this, though, in like a year from now and be like, what were we doing?
Like, wow, that was bad.
That was really bad. But listen, shout out to my brother-in-law, Cameron.
Yeah.
Who we both, he knows Cameron too.
Yeah.
And he hooked us up with the Shure mic and the podcast arm and all the things from Sweetwater Sound.
Yeah.
Because he works there. And so it makes this podcast a little bit easier. So
yeah, it's like a very professional setup, honestly. Like,
yeah, we just got to get 2 of them now.
Yeah.
So and then we'll be all set. So.
Yeah, but it'll be good. It'll be good to go.
Nice. Yeah. Well, today I wanted to bring Garrett on really so that we can kind of just talk through what it means to realign as dads and as dads and as husbands and really just what that means for the family. I was like, who better to talk about that than a guy who just had a brand new baby.
Yeah.
So what's her name?
Sayla Lane.
Sayla. Yeah, little Sayla. She's a hoot.
Yeah, she's gorgeous. She's absolutely beautiful.
She's a month old today?
Yeah, she's a month old as of yesterday at the time of recording.
Oh, okay.
And she's adorable. The labor was beautiful, very God inspired. Like God was so present throughout all of it, and the story isn't mine to tell of my wife's birth story, but it was absolutely incredible. And like God really gave me the opportunity to just receive his word and like just kind of guide me in the way I could support my wife, and just he does that every day in the way that I can support and realign my family. So.
Oh, look at that. See what I did there? Rubbing off on
I'm a bit of a natural.
What can I say? Yeah, I know. I think it's really cool that, especially like you made the trip a month in, just because I know you don't sleep, and there's like, and all you dads out there, nobody gives the dads enough credit. Listen, sure. I know that the woman goes through a lot, okay?
That's crazy.
I understand. But at the same time, like, let's get a guide for dads for like the hospital. Like, what do you take to the hospital? Like, what do you...
Yeah.
So, thrilled to have you on the podcast.
Yeah,
and
thanks for having me.
Really just wanted to kind of talk to Garrett because we grew up together in what I thought was an awesome household with our mom and dad. And we taught a lot of good principles about faith and about family and about showing up. And our dad was awesome as far as, being there for us and showing us how to do things and whatnot. And so we hope to kind of emulate that in our kids. And so I have 2 kids. Garrett's got 2 kids. And so what do you think, from your perspective, what do you think is the biggest thing that you've been learning, since your first kid and then now Sayla? No needs the other kid. Why Nona? But what do you think is the biggest thing that you're learning or that you've learned? And, because your kids are 15 months apart, right?
16.
So 16 months apart.
Yeah. No, 15. Yeah, you're right. My bad.
Yeah. 15. See, I know more about this.
Honestly, I'm going to say 2 things. I'm going to say patience and humility. For one, my patience is just, when you're up late at night and baby's screaming, and especially if you have 2 of them screaming at a time, and you want to help your wife sleep because, obviously their hormones are all thrown off after, giving birth and everything. So they need replenished with as much sleep as they possibly can. Yeah. And so it's just sometimes having the patience and the humility to be able to do that because oftentimes I think we find ourselves, getting frustrated and caught up in like, even as men and even as husbands, even though like we have this ideal of supporting our family and taking care of our family, we're also like selfish people,
Yeah.
selfish, sinful people. And so I think that that's like the biggest thing for sure is just pushing my selfish desires to the side and being the figure that Jesus would have me be.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Or do you take the what I call the midnight shift? Or do you take the 2 o'clock shift?
Oh, I take the whole night.
You take the whole night?
I take the whole night actually, yeah.
Oh, wow.
Because I've learned a lot about women's hormones. My wife's a doula.
Nice. I forgot you did that.
Yeah. So I've learned a lot about women's hormones, and I've realized they just need so much rest, especially to just replenish their hormones and get back on a sturdy cycle. And so I've taken it on to do that. And honestly, it's like been pretty smooth. I hear horror stories from people. Honestly, like it's been pretty great. There's those nights. So you're right. Like earlier this week, I had a night where I did not sleep other than like 3 hours. But but it's worth it to me because as currently the provider of my household, I also want to I don't want to just be the provider financially. I want to be the provider physically, emotionally, mentally, as much as I possibly can be as well.
Yeah, no, I think that's really good that you brought that up, because I think today, like, what I see a lot of is the guy not being the provider. And there's something about that, like not only I think that it even, and you can rebuttal me if you don't think so, but I think that there is even biblical reference back to how the foundation of the house is to be in order. And there's something like, for a guy, as being the provider, being the caretaker, being the to your point, not only financially, but just showing up and like, hey, I want to do this for you. I want to take the trash out for you. Like, I want to open the car door for you. I want to you need me to go to the store? Great, I got it. There's providing in that sense that I don't think that we talk about enough, that men aren't owning, I think, too.
Yeah, Priscilla, my wife, and we very much, we have more of a traditional household in that aspect, even though like there are some aspects where we don't necessarily entirely agree with the full traditional household. But I do think that, like you said, as far as like being a man, there is something very satisfying as a man where we do feel we feel an obligation, and sometimes there are negative connotations to that, especially like in the world that we live in, being raised, sometimes it's a bit toxic how masculine we're taught to be. But I do think that as a man, there is something so satisfying about providing and being the provider and fulfilling the needs of your household, because like you said, there is biblical connotation for that. And there is just something so satisfying as being the masculine one in your family. As being, the man. And just taking that on and knowing that your family is okay. And especially because, women do go through, child labor, or hormonal issues, no matter what aspect that may be. Just being there is so satisfying. Like I told Priscilla, as we were going into this process of her having our second child, I would tell her, I'm just looking forward to postpartum because I can just take care of you.
That's good.
And sometimes like my favorite things are just like when she's sick, and so she's just in bed all day, and I get to cook for her, and I get to and like and then traditional values like cooking and cleaning are like not masculine, but I love doing those things for her because as a man, I love providing in those ways. So
no, that's good. I definitely think that it's definitely it's definitely I'll use business sense, I guess, like a partnership. It's definitely teamwork. That when you talk about marriage and you talk about the roles of a man and the roles of a woman, and you know, obviously that's like a huge topic, like especially once you get into the church world, just on like who does what and what's okay and what's not okay.
Yeah,
but I think as far as the household though goes, to your point, there's something so satisfying for a man, and men, like, you can probably agree or relate to us when we're saying the sense that like I get up and I work and I provide for my family, and I will talk about financially, like so financially, like I'm helping realign things for the family. I'm realigning the finances for the family. I'm realigning the premise of what we make decisions on. Obviously, we make decisions on the Lord and like what He wants, but I'm from a earthly standpoint, like, you know, we look at the finances and we make almost every decision. Sometimes goes back to the finances. And so I would just say there's almost like a sense of pride, like in a healthy way, that's like I wake up and I go provide for my wife and for my kids. Something I don't think is talked enough about. I think the world and social media and different things we see is, especially in the States, is trying to feminize men a lot and trying to basically, you know, mask us as like it is okay to be gentle, and it is okay to be you know, comforting, and it is okay to like, and we are both of those things, I feel like. But it's also like, think about, and this isn't fully healthy, right? But like when you think about like older men, or like in their 60s, 70s, they kind of had this rugged, tough, like no attitude, like I'm gonna get things done, and I'm gonna work with my hands, and I'm gonna get dirty, and I think that there is something about that we've lost, like we've lost in the world today, of like getting your hands dirty to provide. So we can't fully look at men back then and be like, oh my gosh, like they had it fully wrong. Because I don't think that they had it wrong. I think there's aspects of it that were very cold and very negative. But there's also the foundation of like, like I get up and provide for my family, and I come home and I help my family, I provide for them, I take care of them, I love on them. I think that, you know, it's just so important.
Like something I've learned very recently is that men are very one task oriented, right? And this is gonna make sense, trust me. Men are very one task oriented, and women can do a lot at once, right? And so, you know, and Priscilla does what we call puttering, where she'll go around the house and she'll start one task, and then she'll go and finish another, but eventually they'll all get done, probably before the time that I finish one thing. But
it's funny.
She has, she's expressed to me that she finds me the most attractive when I am doing stuff around the house, right? Because sometimes being one task oriented, I forget something, right? Or I'm always like, hey, what do you need done? But sometimes when we just do stuff without being asked, that's
good.
When things are found the most attractive. And so I think that it is okay for us to be comfortable enough with our masculinity to do more feminine aspect things that will still be masculine to our wives, because we are providing and we are like giving a service, if that makes sense to you.
I think so,
yeah. And so I think that there's some gray there, but like I agree, like there's like a while ago, you know, we needed some money, and so I did some side jobs, and I was literally getting my hands dirty, mowing yards, and I was like trimming shrubs, and I was doing all kinds of stuff. But I was literally getting my hands dirty. And there really is something so satisfying about just like, oh, my hands are dirty. I'm going to come home. I'm going to shower. But I know that I just made money for my family.
I'm a grown man.
That's
what I always say. That's what I always say.
I'm a grown man.
Grown man.
Yeah.
I don't want to do Tim Allen. The little bark thing that he does.
Yeah.
I don't know. I still want to do that, like when I wake up. Like when if I eat bacon and eggs, I just want to go. But black coffee. That's all I like.
But yeah, I just think that like it's very important as a man that we provide and realign ourselves as well as our families in that way, because there's definitely times where I'm like, I'm not doing enough. You know what I mean?
It's a good realization to have, though.
Yeah, for sure.
Because it's something about a guy, though. It spurs you to do more.
Yeah.
Like if you're like, oh gosh, I'm falling behind or I'm missing the mark.
Yeah.
It's kind of the kick in the pants of like, okay, gosh, I gotta go. I love. One of my friends says, you gotta kill something and drag it home. And I'm like, man, like that makes me feel like a man. That makes me feel like a grown man. You know, like I gotta go do this. And I guess very real, but like being very practical and in real time, like me doing this full time and like leaving a secure full time job. Is terrifying because it's like, are my clients going to continue on, or like are they going to renew their contracts? Or what about insurance? Like, and all these fears can kind of creep in your mind, I think. But when you say no, I'm the provider, like I will do whatever it takes. Like I'll do whatever it takes to provide. If that means I do have to go back and work another job, like I will. But this is, for us right now, like this is the thing. And this is what we're gonna, work through. But this is how I feel like we are gonna provide. So, it's a hard balance sometimes.
That's something I've had to learn, and is priorities, especially with children coming into the picture. And at what point do you sacrifice some of your wants and needs, you know?
No, that's good.
And so definitely, I know you've had to make some sacrifices. Like you didn't necessarily, want to go back to work, but like, you had to, and I've been there too.
Let's switch gears a little bit in our, like the remainder of our time. And like, we've talked a lot about, money and kind of the physical aspect, but like, what about, like, let's get into faith a little bit. Like, what does it mean to realign your family as far as like from a faith standpoint? I think before you answer that, like I think for me, realigning them back to Jesus is obviously my most important obligation. And when when I see shades of it in my kids that they're not following Jesus at 4 and almost 2, it's like, okay, me and Maggie start thinking like, what do we need to do to realign this? What do we need to do to realign our marriage to get back on track and to make sure that we're spending time with Jesus, or making sure that we're so like, talk about like your role as a father and as a husband, and what does that mean for realigning the family back to faith and in faith? And
for me, I think it's being a good example. Like Noni, my first daughter, is only 16 months old now, but I still find myself kicking myself when I'm not setting a good example, because she won't necessarily remember these formative years, but they are formative years. They're learning at this age. She's learning more than we will learn in a lifetime. And so, actually, I have a great story for this. The other day, our dog was being loud, and I yelled at him to shut up. And then she starts going up, up, trying to yell at him to shut up. And so I had this realization of, I need to stop saying shut up to the dog. Because otherwise she's going to start saying that to Clyde. She'll start saying that to kids, And
Priscilla.
Priscilla. So I was like, okay, I am just going to start using the word hush, But that's a small example. But I think that is so important. If I'm not displaying God, if I am not actively working on my faith, I can't align my family to work on their faith. And I think that's so important. And so, every Sunday after church, Priscilla and I go, what do you think of the sermon? And we discuss it. We had a Bible study for a while that we were hosting with our friends, and for various reasons, like people moving and whatnot, like we don't have it at the moment. But just trying to center yourself on God and have these open conversations around your children and setting that example, and then also just having that with your spouse is just so important. And like talking about God is like some of my most favorite, most intimate times with my wife.
Yeah.
Is because I know that like we are spiritually in line with one another when we are doing that. And when I'm failing, when I'm not, listening to Bible Project, when I'm not reading my
shout out,
when I'm not reading my Bible, when I am not reflecting on sermons, I find myself slipping, and then I also find like my household is like more tense. You know what I mean? Because
no, it's good.
Because like once you're letting God in, and our big thing this year has been receiving from God, and because constantly, and this is a whole other topic, but constantly we try to do and do things for ourselves, but like when we are just receiving from God, and receiving from God comes when you're being spiritually aligned with God, and you're talking to God, and you're in His Word, and you're discussing it on a regular basis.
Yeah.
And when you're receiving from God, then that tension is gone. Like your household is, you can come through trials and you just tear them down like a crane with a brick wall, like a bulldozer. So that's, I would say that like it's just setting an example for my family is the biggest thing for me.
Yeah, that's good. It made me think about when I left Ramsey and I went and worked for another company, a bookkeeping company.
Yeah.
I was, at the end of my time at Ramsey, I was doing Ramsey full time and then doing like probably 25 hours with the other company. And so you're talking about 65 hours a week of just grind and grueling. And so I would basically leave Ramsey, come home, eat dinner real quick, hang out with the kids in, that 2 hours of time.
Yeah.
And then I'd, kiss my wife, take a shower, and then I'd be like, okay, well, I'll see you tomorrow because I got to go work in the office, my second job, until 11 o'clock at night to do bookkeeping. And it just got to be to the point where my attitude stunk, my tolerance for the kids crazy stunk. Like, it was just, I was reacting poorly. I was not, there's just a ton of things in there.
Yeah.
And then it started affecting like me and Maggie, and where Maggie's like, I don't even see you, like you just come and you work. And so for me, that was probably like, there's probably a lot of guys that are watching this that are probably relating to that. Like, if you are not giving your wife the time and attention that she needs, or your kids the time and attention that they need from you, you gotta realign that. Like, you've got to realign and get that back in order, because that's how marriages fail. That's how relationships with your kids fail. Is if you're just working constantly. You can be making a load of money. Like, I'll be honest, like I was making a lot of money, but was it worth it? No. And even up until this point of like going full time with Realine, it's like, like paychecks are great, but is it stealing from, number one, what I want to do, what makes me happy, and then also, more importantly, is it going to allow me time with my wife and my kids more? And I think, for us, like, it's just, this is like the best decision. And I think to your echoing what you're saying, of like, it's just you have to be in a healthy place to be able to lead well.
Of course.
Whether you're doing that personal life or in business, like you have to be realigned yourself. And we're not just like playing a pun on words here. Just like, you have to be realigned.
Yeah, for real.
As a man with the Lord before you can lead. Others.
Absolutely. So, with family members and just stories we've heard over the years, we've heard that being a fault, right? People working too much, and that being a problem. And I've experienced what you just described as well. Like, it used to be like I worked 2 jobs, and then I also obviously do professional wrestling. I was traveling on the weekends. I was barely home. Like, so, it came a point in time where it was like, okay, well, what am I going to do about this? And, and
how do you prioritize the things that you love to do with
the things you need to do?
The things you need to do. Right. And like, when you throw kids in the mix, and you get married, it's like, okay, my priorities and my back to your very first point, like my selfish desires have got to change as a man, because if they don't change, I'm gonna lose my wife, I'm gonna lose my kids, or I'm gonna lose my sanity. And absolutely. Which, you know, could go a million different directions. So so well, dude, thanks for being on.
Dude, thanks for having me. I think it was a great discussion.
I told him that we were just gonna laugh the whole time. I was like, we're not gonna be able to talk about anything productive but yeah, this guy's the real deal. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time on the Realine podcast.